Alright, hi people. Sorry for the unannounced live stream. It's been a while, but unfortunately, the first live stream of 2018 is not going to be a good one. So, hello to those joining in. But unfortunately, I have some bad news. So, I'll cut to the point. I'll talk through what just happened, and we'll take questions later on. It's kind of 12:30 midnight here, so I don't want to stay around too long. But I've in the past reported on burglaries and break-in attempts to local archery clubs. And those who've been following on the Facebook page have known what's happened. So it happened to my club. So as of yesterday, so around 24 hours ago, there was a serious break-in to the club facilities. This was the second break-in in as many weeks, and I'll show you what has happened. But basically the club's been cleaned out. So it's happened quite often in the past couple of years where archery clubs have been targeted, and they've lost a lot of gear. And in our case, we've lost an amount of gear. It's not like, in my opinion, crippling, but it's also nothing that's to be scoffed at. So it's obviously put a lot of strain on the club. I mean, it's just the holidays, the people are still away and haven't known about it yet, and we're still going through crisis management. But this is sort of thing which can break a club, because this is the club needs this sort of thing to keep on going. So we'll talk through what has happened. So I'm going to show you the photos I've collected. The first break-in attempt was on Christmas. So I turned up on the club grounds on the 20th of December, and that's when I did my dealing with disappointment video. That was a special request from one of my viewers, so I did it on Christmas because I don't celebrate Christmas. But we've been visited by someone, and it wasn't Santa Claus. So what I found, this is what I took note of on the day. So here we go. So this is on the Facebook page. I just posted this, but this is from the 25th of December. So the Christmas break and attempt. So what you see here is the club door. Hopefully you can see that. So that was the club door, and the thieves had attempted to cut the latches off. So this bottom one here has been cut away. The lock was taken. And by the way, every lock that was smashed was taken. There's no evidence left behind. And that would obviously compromise all remaining locks used by the council, which is really unfortunate. But this particular one, they cut through. Now, the middle door, the door handle itself is locked. That was intact, so they didn't get through that. They got through the bottom of the lock there. Is our brightness low? It doesn't look like it. It looks fine on my screen. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, right, so it's fine. Yeah, we can go. It doesn't matter too much. All right. This is the gate which they cut through. And you can see that they've used a tool, perhaps an axe or some kind of blunt object, to try and cut through this. They succeeded, obviously, and they removed the lock as well. So it took multiple attempts to cut through this lock, but they basically disabled the lock on the entrance of the gate. In addition to that, by the way, for those who have been observing the my recent update, I'll show you the photos later. But it's the same tools, the same method of operation. So if you're seeing this and you live locally, then just be aware that this is the sort of thing which is happening around. So sports clubs tend to be targeted during Christmas, especially. This is a close up of the latch itself. So you can see this is secured by a lock. They've cut it away. Really easy to smash up, so that's not surprising. That was a hole in the fence. It's obviously they've used a wire cutter to get through it, but it's actually quite fascinating to see how neatly they cut this. When you see later on, I'll show some of the attempts to cut through the cage where we store the equipment. and it's a pretty crude job. But this one here is so neat. Like you can actually walk through this, like a small person, like even the guy crouches, you actually walk through this. It's almost as tall as I am. It's a very neatly cut hole in the fence. So that was a pretty blatant entry attempt. Now, I'm not sure like what how to piece the sequence of events because they obviously broke through the other gate from the outside, but they also cut this super neat like hole in the fence. So not too sure which came first, but yeah, the entry was obviously forced through this fence. So, next up we have that's the top lock. The door. There are three locks on the door. There's two padlocks, one top, one bottom, and the door handle itself has a lock. Now the top lock, they clearly attempted to smash this particular hook off. They failed to do so, and what they ended up doing was they bent the catch in place. So I actually couldn't open it on the day. We came back afterwards and we pried it open, but you can see that the whole thing is bent. So the door was sealed shut. So that's why they couldn't get through. Whatever method they used, they made a right mess of it, and they sealed the door. So they kind of ruined their own attempt to break in. But of course, they succeeded in the following week. But we repaired this. But you can see the attempt as well as the lock which is on there. You can see that it has very similar cut marks. So they attempted to use the same method to get through it. So that was on probably the 23rd or the 24th of December. And for those who are joining me right now, that the club was broken into, and I'm showing you photos of the initial attempt on the 25th. By the way, I do apologize I'm lagging. I have, by the way, removed my graphics card because that's dead, so I'm replacing that tomorrow, hopefully. But I'm just covering this as a news flash, so if I'm lagging, I do apologize, but that's basically what's happening right now. So that is the that's the first attempt. Now, what happened on either Tuesday night or Wednesday? And that's either yesterday or the day before. Now, bear in mind, I was at the club on Tuesday at around I was there from 5 p.m. to about 8:30. So the video that I released on Tuesday, which was the Windrunner review, that was actually filmed right before this break-in or some sort. So the timing is just so weird. Either that night or the following day, because we were there on the Thursday. So we found out on Thursday afternoon. So we imagined it happened, but what you see in that video is exactly what the club looked like before the break-in. So that was obviously a right mess of things. So once again, they cut through the fence, a different part of the fence this time, because we fixed all the damage last time. So we patched the fence. We managed to get the locks back onto the door and the gate. But the funny thing was, like, I accidentally left the gate unlocked because the way the whole thing was bent out of shape. We had to like do a different way of reaching around the lock. I didn't do it properly, so it was a weird thing. And yeah, they basically ignored the open gate and they cut through the fence again. So there you go. That's the entryway. So that's the first part. The second thing, which I'll do quickly. So that's what they took. So we store our gear inside that cupboard, and there's a bunch of other tools. But basically, like we leave the place in a pretty bad mess anyway. So anyone that comes in, it's gonna find it hard to find anything of value. And really, there's nothing of value. And I'll talk about that a bit later. But we had around say 30 bows. They took around I think 15 to 20 bows. So they've taken a lot of the beginner gear. Obviously, it's a pretty hasty smash and grab. They weren't taking the time to do this properly, and they've left a lot of things lying around. Not sure whether they bothered turn the light on or just grabbed what they could, but they went for the cage and they grabbed the stuff from there. What else? So next we have this. That's the lock to the cage where we keep the equipment. So as you can see, they attempted the same method of breaking through. They tried to smash through the lock there, which they failed to do so. So instead, they cut their way through the hole here, and it's a bit surprising that they cut this particular hole, because you actually see like on top here, like previous attempts to cut through. So they obviously tried, and for some reason they just couldn't get it right. So they cut another one over here, and they crawled in through here. And this is a pretty small hole, by the way. And it's a bit suspicious because a grown adult would have trouble getting through here. We tried, by the way, and you can, but it's unnecessarily small. Considering you saw the other holes in the fence, which were very large, that you can walk through easily, and also the fact that, if you cut the outside, it's more obvious. When you're inside, no one's going to see you, right? So they've cut this bizarrely small hole, which is a bit of a tight squeeze, and it might be small wonder why they couldn't get everything out, because all the junk in the way is there. So yeah, that's how they got into the cage. So all the security around it is pretty pointless. We just use wire cutters to just go right through. So that was the scene of the crime there. And you can see that basically it tried to ruffle with everything else. So they took all the arrows here, and they tried finding other important things like cash and money. The only cash that we kept on premises was like $50, which was kept for buying drinks for the club, so that wasn't really worth anything. But you can see they've tried to grab everything they can. They even grabbed, like in this photo here, you can see these boxes of arrows. These are our broken, crappy arrows which we're trying to throw out, and they actually grabbed like half of them. So thank you. We were trying to throw them out, but our coach kept on keeping them. So now they're gone, we can finally get rid of them. They also took the ones which we were using. So there's a bunch here, but there's. By the way, we just labeled them, so they've grabbed all the labeled arrows. And speaking of which, the bows are also very distinct. The bows are most of the bows that were taken were PAC Razorbacks. And half of them have my signature pink string. I wanna sidetrack here because this is so weird. It's like you can't sell these things because they have no value on the market, right? Like if you steal like compound bows, then you can offload them onto Gumtree or eBay, and it's not that hard to sell things secondhand because compound bows are worth something. But you're obviously the people who are breaking in don't know about archery because what they're taking is worthless. Like the reason why why we don't have a lot of security, or you might say why don't have insurance, because the bows here aren't worth anything. It's more of an inconvenience than a financial loss. What you like, the bows are just Razorbacks, right? You can buy them for $100, and you can't sell them because they're used and they have obvious signs of being used. A lot of them have markings, so we know that they belong to the club, so they have the club initials SCAC. In addition, I believe half the bows they took featured the hot pink bowstrings that I made for the Breast Cancer Awareness Project a couple of years back. So you've got used equipment, which sells for nothing, with the only pink strings in the world. So if you're just joining in and you want to share this to other people and warn them about things they can buy, if you see a PAC Razorback with a hot pink string, that's mine. Okay, so it's I noticed, by the way, that the bows that are left behind happen to have pink strings. So either the pink strings are undesirable and ugly, and therefore they won't take them even for free, or there's some kind of hoodoo about pink strings which make them work. So I'm thinking maybe I should make all the club bows with pink strings, make them really unappealing, so that way they wouldn't take the bows, and if they did, they can't sell them because what are you gonna do? You're obviously not gonna like buy a new string or replace the string. If I say, look, if you see pink strings on PC Razorbacks anywhere on the internet, that's stolen from me. So yeah, that was the my sidetrack there. So back to our scene, our crime scenes. You see that's the stuff they took there. Most of the arrows were Eastern Apollos. There were a couple of carbon ones, and I think 6 Eastern Genesis arrows. So these are the El Cheapo things. Again, these arrows are worth like what, $5 each. So they took a bunch. I mean, the whole thing with this burglary is that like all up, like the bows cost maybe 100 each, 150. I'd say thereabouts. The arrows are about $5 each. But when you lose a lot in one go, you have to spend like 2 or 3 grand to replace them. Now, 2 or 3 grand is like the cost of my Olympic bow, and that's kind of scary when you think about the cost of archery equipment. Like my own personal gear, which I use for my freestyle shooting, costs more than what the club lost altogether. That's scary. That's really scary. I'll take questions a bit later, by the way. I'm happy to do so, but we'll go through the rest of the crime scene. So, yep, you can see that's where they cut through the lock. They smashed the lock we replaced. All locks this time, so the bottom and the top. They also got into the locked door. So they basically, I don't know what they did to open it, but they removed it. Yeah, that's the evidence. They took more photos, but basically they left a lot of things behind. You can see they dropped a lot of arrows on the ground. They dropped arrows outside, so it was not a clean job. Like they really went in. They grabbed what they could. They left a bit of a mess behind in terms of the bows. They grabbed the easy cash, which was a bit of a nice way to distract them, I guess. But this was if you look at everything in my Tuesday video, that's what it was when I was there last. So between that video and this one, you can see there's been quite a few changes and a few bows missing. So that is the factual report. We go back to me because you probably see the Facebook page going crazy because both my personal page, my new Sensei page, and my club page have reported this. It's being shared around. So obviously, if you know about this, share it. Both this video and if you're on Facebook, then follow the either my post on New Sensei or the Southern Cross Archery Club Facebook page. You can see the updates on the equipment. But yeah, what is the effect of this? Well, I mean, we still actually have quite a few bows. We were worried that we couldn't run our come and try program, but we actually still can technically. But we're short on quite a few things like arrows and appropriate bows. But like realistically, like what they've stolen is just not worth anything. Like I mean, they stole a lot of like 5-year-old PC Razorbacks, which are just the junior bows or the wooden recurves for beginners, and they cost like nothing, right? So it's more of a pain for us to replace rather than a financial burden. Any club that spends this money will obviously feel it, but it's kind of not like a big deal in terms of the equipment stolen. The other bows which they took were like club bows from the 1950s. So again, it's like Seam Dye is saying, they stole a bunch of junk. Are thieves missing from me? I doubt that thieves will be watching me because look, like I don't associate myself with the club, right? So it's not like they're watching me and they're picking my club to try and hurt me and annoy me. This is a fairly major operation, and again during the Christmas break, there's an increase in break-ins, and from what I've heard, quite a few clubs around the area have suffered. Like this is a normal thing around here. Sports clubs are always targeted, so it's not me, and I doubt they're watching me going, "We stole your bows." So I don't give a shit. Okay, they're not my bows. It's a club that I go to, so it's not a personal thing. And if you're trying to, if you think you can get away with stealing like my bows, and I'm like the first person you go to for archery on the internet, then good luck selling my bows because now they're branded. So have fun with that. So yeah, I doubt there's a personal vendetta. That would be a silly thing because look, a lot of clubs have been broken into. I was hearing from someone from Sherbrooke Archers. They've been hit 3 times in the past year, and in the year before that, like there's been break-ins every 3 or 4 months. You hear it from Victoria, you hear it from interstate, like New South Wales. I've reported quite a few myself. I remember the Gold Coast Archers had one as well. So it's not uncommon, but I mean, as Jay per se were saying, is saying that who steals bows? Again, I get that you might take valuable equipment like compound bows are expensive. Even the cheap junior ones might cost 200, $300. So that's some cash you can make there if you offload it. But the club bows are not valuable, right? The club bows don't like again. You can't sell it, and you're not hurting the club like in terms of like, oh, we can't run, we're closing down now, and you're not hurting me. I don't care. But it's like, well, what you've done is you've taken from the community. Because this gear is not used by the archery club. This gear is used for the beginner programs, which we run every weekend for the community. School groups, community groups, the general public. So these are the people who use this gear. Now, if you wanted to, use the equipment, then you could just drop in on Saturday morning and join us, and we'd be happy to accept you and teach how to shoot and be part of the club. And a lot of people have found a home at the club because that's what they enjoy doing. It's their event. It's their social experience for the week. So the fact that you've taken what is basically free equipment from the community. Well, I hope you sleep well at night. I mean, I hope that the money you don't make from selling gear that doesn't belong to you feeds your 10 children because you've taken what is the community's pastime and made it impossible for us to enjoy what we do. And this is why we can't have nice things because you take it. So I have no message to you if you're taking this. You're assholes, and there's nothing secret about that. But you've done something which is completely worthless. And you mean you've exposed your meta operation. You've been reported to police. And you've taken things which are so unique that you can't sell them because they've got freaking pink strings. Okay, so that is that is really sad, and it's like I said, it's more of an annoyance for the club than a big deal. The club will recover. I mean, we have the ability to bounce back and rebuild, and like I said, a lot of the gear was kind of old and outdated anyway, and we were in the process of transitioning to standardized gear. So you've kind of done us a favor by cleaning out the crap. And we have to buy new things. And we have to buy new arrows, but the arrows we had were crap anyway, and they're all like cut to different lengths, and we have no sets remain. We just kind of mix and match. So, like in a lot of ways, we've wiped the slate clean. There's still some leftover bows, but getting replacements shouldn't be amazingly hard. But the bigger lesson is, like, for any archery club, you will be targeted, and you have to think about how you secure your premises as best as you can. You can't prevent this sort of thing for the most part. I mean, it's always a risk, and especially in the area like where we are, it's not well protected. There aren't cameras, there aren't lights. It's easy for them to walk in. It's basically in a back corner. All right, so obviously the club would have to take more measures to ensure safety, and look, even with cameras, you can't prevent it. You might have evidence, but it's very hard to stop someone in their tracks unless you have a really big alarm or something. So there are ways. There are ways to recover from this. Again, I'm not the one in charge anymore, so it's something which the club has to decide to how to move forward. But as usual, if you know anything or you see something suspicious, especially again looking at places like eBay or Gumtree, like these bows are very clearly used. Again, some of them have marked with the letters SCAC, some of them do. A lot of them have written markings of texture or marker, so permanent marker with like draw weights and right or left hand. So it's very obviously club equipment, and the strings have been made by me, all of them. Some of them are white dacron with a patterned serving, but I believe a few of them will have pink strings. So that's my little gimmick there. So if you see pink strings on a bow being sold, that is mine. That's those are the news. Thank you for your hashtag thoughts and prayers, I guess. I mean, I'm not broken by this. If anything, I'm disappointed. I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed. Could I send them a GoFundMe page? I probably could. It's easy to get donations, especially if I use my personal clout to say, look, hey, my club was broken into. Give me money, please. I could do that, and it might be an avenue. Like if the club chooses to open up a donation page, then it's something I obviously will promote. But that's a choice for the club to make and not me. That if there is something out there, I will put the notice out. But again, it's mostly at the moment, it's just making people aware that firstly, there's hot stuff out there right now, and happen to be hot pink. And secondly, again, for any archery club in the local area or anywhere, you just got to be very mindful of some of these things. Leonard, you want a pink bowstring? I actually made these bowstrings. They're just joining me. For breast cancer awareness research. So, for October, like 3 years ago, I made pink strings for all the club members. We made pink strings, or I made pink strings for the club bows, and all the proceeds from the club bow from that month, plus the pink strings that the members bought, were given to breast cancer research. So that was my personal campaign. Thought it might be something worth doing, like sharing around, having a pink string month, which is pretty fun. A few people bought my pink string, because some people still use them. I still have some lying around, but that was quite a fun project. But holy crap, that's a lot of man hours, just like making strings. Now I'm much better, but back then it's kind of like, oh yeah, what's one way to like have a lot of like string experience? How can you grind string making experience? Like kind of like RuneScape style, just to kind of make strings, right? So that was what I did. It was a special one-off thing. It's funny that Morton mentions like buying in bulk from Jun Sing. We actually have the person who gave me the toe point bow, like he offered to sell for the basically the wholesale price of the club. The problem, like I like the toe point R2 as a club bow. For those who are wondering, the toe point is yes, Josh, Box Hill was broken into as well. That's one of the clubs thing up. So I know Sherbrooke was broken into, Box Hill, Werribee Archery's had a few attempts. So it's a pretty big epidemic, and you've got to make yourself as thief proof as possible. You can't prevent it, but yeah, it's pretty shitty. Oh, it seemed like that was okay, I know Box Hill Archers has probably been talking about underwear stolen. Okay, no, I misread that. But whoa, but I know Box Hill Archers I think probably had an attempt, but they don't keep much stuff on site, so I wouldn't be surprised if Box Hill Archers had an incident too. Well, yeah, as Cut the guy said that yeah, like people, it's not the money they make. Like people who want to break in will steal things, but there's a difference between an opportunist and someone who actually wants to get in. Now, an opportunist say, oh, here's an empty shed, we'll try and take some cash. But here's obviously someone or a group of people who have brought tools in to attempt to break in twice. That's twice in 2 weeks. So they've come and they've come back. So we repaired damage, but they've come back for a second time. So yeah, probably kleptomaniacs. Wouldn't be surprised, but they really wanted to get in. And again, the shit is nothing worthwhile inside. I mean, we painted a big banner for a target for ourselves because we put the club name and banner on the sign. Before it was empty shit. People probably didn't care, but now it's like, oh, archery club. There's probably stuff in there. Breaking news, guys. By the way, if you want to break into an archery club, most clubs don't keep valuable equipment inside. So you're wasting your time stealing stuff which has no value. So if in future you want to break into a club, don't do an archery club. There are probably better clubs to break into. You're still an asshole, by the way, but there's nothing of value in an archery club. Northern made a comment. Did somebody disturb them last time? I don't think so. I think what happened was what you saw. In case you missed it, they tried to bash. They tried to hammer off the latches which locked the door. They succeeded on the bottom one, but they couldn't get the top one. So whatever they did, they actually sealed the door shut. So no matter what they did, they couldn't get into the door, and neither could I. So we had to like do some hardware work to actually get the door open again. So they kind of screwed up their own attempts. It's kind of comedic if it didn't like come back this time. But yeah, I don't think they were busted last time. Likely they had all the time in the world, and they just effed it up because they just smashed the door shut by accident. It's comical, but not pleasant now that they actually succeeded. And I wouldn't be surprised if they came back again, because they probably saw things which they didn't take first time around. Now that they've been there, they know where things are, they know what's left, which by the way, we've removed everything which is anything worth taking, we've removed already. But they wouldn't be surprised if they try to come back and try to open a safe and take money or something. So everything's empty. I've kept everything away from the shed now. But yeah, I would not be surprised if they came back for the third time. So that's twice in 2 weeks. They've taken half the gear. Wouldn't be surprised. Alright, I'll take questions, by the way. Feel free to just jump and ask questions. Tag my name at New Sensei so I can see it on the chat. But that's the incident. So again, for those who's just joining me on this surprise live stream, yeah, my club was broken into. We've lost most of our gear, so we have to assess where we're going for this year. It's a pretty shitty start to 2018 to basically lose your your community equipment. Again, this isn't the stuff we use for the club, and the club used we all have our own gear which we bring and we take home, so don't leave anything there. But this is what the community is stuck using. Well, can't use now, so it's a shame. Like we wanted to open up for the community, like it's school holidays right now, so obviously there's a bit of demand to do some archery, and I'd want to open up early before the school term started. And we haven't lost a crippling amount of valuables and cash. We don't keep cash on premises. The stuff there's old, and it's basic stuff we want to get rid of at some point anyway. But it's like the fact that it's happened is it puts people on edge, and that's more of the harm is the people in the community lose out. The people who visit the families, the kids, they're the ones who miss out. Not the club members. We don't miss out. But it's just, again, this is why we can't have nice things. We just have to improve security, put cameras, put alarms, and sidetrack more money into things which are better spent elsewhere. But these are things we have to do, and then we obviously have to do it. So yeah. We used to we didn't have a clubhouse for many years. We just drive everything on site, but we can't literally drive things. We can't drive 100 bows to the venue every single week. So it's something which we have to think about carefully. But yeah, that's the summary there. And yeah, as Jesus 70 said, these are the dicks. There's no there's no. I mean, I know these aren't the smartest thieves, and it's very rare to find a smart thief. And if there is a smart thief, you wouldn't know they're a thief. So they take things that you don't know about them. They're taking things which have no intrinsic value. You can't sell it for much cash anywhere. And like I said, this sort of thing is Like, what are you gonna do with like 20, beginner recurve bows? What are you gonna do? Same with like people stole like Genesis bows. Who the hell's gonna buy a Genesis bow, right? It's stuff you wouldn't really buy. All right, so some questions. Let's have a look here. I haven't seen Star Wars yet. I'm planning to do so before like the break-in, so I want to do so next few days. I quite enjoyed Force Awakens. I liked the Rogue One, surprisingly. That's something I'll do in the future. My current priority is to get my computer back up and running. It's there, it's running. As you can see, I'm streaming from my computer. Wasn't sure how this would work, but what happened was I was doing my next episode of Archery Pop Shots, and I was doing Far Cry Primal. So the things that I basically have to play the whole game, right? So there are games which I already finished, like Far Cry 4, which I went back to record, but Far Cry Primal I basically restarted from scratch, so I want to get footage from the whole thing, and that's been quite fun to play. Like Far Cry Primal is really good. Far Cry Primal is a very fun game to play, and I wanted to do that. And as I was playing, I noticed that the game kept freezing up, and you see like the discoloration when the graphics card dies. And look, I'm not a computer expert, but I've done tech stuff in the past. So I used to play around with hardware and build my own computers when I was a young kid, and that latent skill allowed me to diagnose. Actually, it's really funny. If you haven't followed my Facebook page, basically. I thought it might have been an overheating problem because it's summer here, and when things get too hot, things crash. But I was doing some diagnostics, and basically it was like 30 degrees. It's as cool as you could possibly get for a GPU. And after a while I just couldn't boot up because it kept going through the blue screen of death. And it kept saying the video drivers couldn't be loaded, and then I ran who crashed, and same thing. It was the graphics driver, so I installed previous drivers, and just nothing worked. Every time I tried to boot up, it would have blue screen of death. So safe mode works fine, and I found that when I uninstalled the drivers, it booted up normally, but when I installed them, it didn't work. So there was it wasn't dust, by the way. I actually cleaned out my computer just before the crashing happened. I thought I might have inadvertently blown dust into the connector ports. It wasn't dust. So what happened was that I did all the diagnostics. It was the drivers couldn't be loaded. Safe mode works fine. So when the graphics card wasn't used, it was fine. So in the end, I figured out it's probably the video card. It's been 3-ish years, so wouldn't hurt to buy a new one. And this morning when I woke up, I had to spend a moment to. I already bought the card. And I thought, I want to actually use my computer without safe mode. So I thought, it'd be nice if I could use the onboard graphic. So I unplugged my card, plugged in the onboard, and of course it works fine. So that pretty much confirmed that the graphics card was malfunctioning. So that's cleaned out now. But I just find it hilarious that someone who is well versed in this, that'll be the first thing you would do is to test the video card, right? And I did all the software diagnostics, and this is things that you should do. So anyone who has tech problems goes through this process. So you're trying to isolate the problem. So I isolated the symptoms and finally got it working and figured out what was wrong, like the back way. Whereas the officer was kind of like, oh, it didn't work, just unplug it. So that's my hardware problem. So I've got stuff ordered on express delivery. So I'm hoping I'll get my video card tomorrow or today. That is the I had the GeForce 780 Ti before. I'm getting the GeForce 1070 Ti, which is a great upgrade. And I'm getting the MSI version. So I've got an MSI motherboard and the MSI GeForce 1070 Ti is a beautiful design. It's like huge black and red fans. Looks sexy, and when you buy computer equipment, it's gotta look sexy. That's important. So I hope that's arriving. And I've also decided to get more RAM because might as well get stuff. I've been doing video editing on 8 gigs of RAM, and I just can't believe I've lasted like 5 years with the bare minimum, right? I mean, 8 gigs is good for gaming. It's not enough for like video editing. Like it's fine, but you can't really multitask, and that's something I kind of do. All right, so sorry, I sidetracked there. I'll go through the questions that are rolling up here. Hi guys, thanks for joining me. But yeah, that's a thing. So my priority is computer, get back up. It feels weak. My case open. I've got no video card. It feels like the computer's naked. But obviously, the machine runs fine. You don't need a GPU. But as a gamer, you're so reliant on the GPU. It feels weird to take it out. So, questions here. Hi, Seam Die. I didn't say hi before. Getting into archery, and you're from Texas. Welcome to archery, and hello to you in Texas. Dave, okay, so I'm not from Texas. You're from Texas. Hi, you're from Texas. I'm obviously not from Texas. Ruru 2, low expectations of Star Wars. I've heard bad things about it, but you know, I'm really good at avoiding like hype. Like I don't watch trailers, and one of the things I learned, and I already did this, but this is one of the things you do, right? When things come out, whether it's games or movies, do not watch trailers. Do not read the news. Do not read the hype because you know what to expect. Whereas, you know, for example, like I really loved Assassin's Creed Origins. And I didn't watch a single trailer. I only watched the trailers after I finished the game, right? So I didn't watch a single trailer. I didn't go like, wow, it's so good, because these are cinematic trailers. They have no gameplay. I'm not impressed. And you see so many hyped games which are fall short. Don't watch trailers. So I didn't watch a single trailer for Rogue One. I didn't watch trailer for I did watch the Force Awakens trailer. Did I? I don't remember it. So if I watch it, I have no memory of it. So yeah, I'm very good at avoiding hype. So but thanks for the warning. I heard bad things about that in passing. Morton, does Toepoint Archery have a factory or is it rebranded? Toepoint is a rebrand. It's Ningbo Archery. There are currently like 2 major Chinese brands. You have Junsing, which people mostly now know as Mandarin Duck. So they've been rebranded. They rebrand the Junsing bows. Sorry. So Junsing and Jandao is the second one, which is very popular. Ningbo is starting up. It's a bit of a newer company, and they've been selling internationally as Toepoint. It's funny because like all these Chinese brands kind of like talk smack to each other. So there's kind of like, oh, this factory has really bad quality materials, and this factory has really bad quality control. But in the end, like, you know, like I for all I care, I have the end product, right? And if I enjoy it, I enjoy it. You can see like the funny thing is, like, I'm just thinking about this, right? Like I'm getting another bow from Mandarin Duck right now. So I did the Phantom and they loved it. I did the Windrunner just the other day and they absolutely loved it. And people asked, well, can you review the Black Hunter? And went, well, I'll ask. And they just sent to me right away. So it's en route. I expect it in a week. I'm getting a £50 Black Hunter. So for those who wanted me to review the entire Mandarin Duck like inventory, I've got 4 bows. I've got the traditional Chinese bow. I've got, which, but by the way, they've taken off the store. I've been told that because of the Christmas shipping premium rates, they couldn't get the price below 100, so they're not selling it anymore. So once the shipping price restores, then they will put it back on the shop. So I'm not going to review it until after it's publicly available. But the bow's fantastic. I've been using it for my thumb shooting, so that's something worth looking at. That's a very nice bow to get for a cheap price. But yeah, I'm getting all these like Mandarin Duck bows, and meanwhile the guy from Toepoint, like he's a nice guy, but I don't understand him sometimes because he's been trying to ask me out for dinner. And I'm like, we just met. Like you can't like, you know, the process is still involved here. So yeah, that's the Toepoint. So Toepoint's it's Ningbo. I heard Jay Pierce here. He asked a few questions before, but the question you asked, I think, was which side do you put your arrow on? Depends on your style of archery. The conventional way of doing things is if you're shooting with a Mediterranean draw, 3 fingers, and you're shooting right-handed, then you put the arrow on the left side of the bow, so the side that is facing you. If you're shooting a thumb draw, the conventional method is to put the arrow on the other side of the bow, what you might call the outside. There are exceptions. There are Mongolian archers who shoot a target style, so to put the arrow on the left side or shooting a thumb draw right-handed, that you can do that. But conventionally, 3 fingers, and the arrow is on the bow side or the arm side, on your side, and for thumb draw, it's on the outside of the bow. There are exceptions, unless you follow the last Anderson school of archery, where all archery is done on the outside, regardless of your shooting style. Looks weird, but that's how it is. Let's see. Northy, our club rises, limbs arrows are in 3 separate boxes. The store, yeah, that works too. Like I've heard some people have like different storage spaces for the bow and the string and the arrows. Yeah, if you have a proper clubhouse, which that works, we don't. We have a shed, so it's really easy to get into. I mean, we can't do much about that unless it builds a new clubhouse or something. Leonard Ashcroft, you're just getting back into archery in compound. Do you think it would be more help or harm being in recurve? Get the recurve if you want to have fun with just the bow. Compounds are fun to shoot, but compounds are compounds, right? If you just want to shoot a bow for kicks, recurve is fine. Would it help you get back into compound? Not necessarily. If you want to do recurve because you want to enjoy it and just have fun and learn it, then the skills will help you transition to compound. People find it easier to go from recurve to compound than to go from compound to recurve. But should you get one to help you train? No, it's not something which is really necessary. The compound by itself is fine, but if you want to have fun with recurve, it doesn't hurt. Look, I shoot Olympic style barebow, trad barebow, and now I shoot Asiatic style. So it's not like these things hamper your learning. You just learn faster by transferring what you know to a different style. So that's completely fine. Roger Paul, have I tried Call of Duty World War II? Yes, I just started playing it this week. I don't like it. I'm a big fan. Like, I started playing, like, I'm from the Medal of Honor era, like the original Medal of Honor on PlayStation 1. That was my first kind of World War II shooter. And I enjoyed all the Medal of Honors. So Medal of Honor Underground, which is the second game. Then Frontline was amazing. Frontline was one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games, by the way. The soundtrack, the whole Spielberg Saving Private Ryan thing, the fact that it had lip sync, it was actually such a good game. I still find the soundtrack for Medal of Honor Frontline to be one of the best soundtracks. When they brought that back into Airborne, like Arnhem Knights, amazing. If you want to hear a good soundtrack for an older game, look up Medal of Honor Frontline after the drop. That's when you drop into Netherlands, Operation Market Garden, and you just hear like the soprano voice, and you're walking through the Dutch fields, and you hear soprano just singing. It's just so spooky. And Arnhem Knights is also excellent. They did such a good job with Frontline. Allied Assault on the PC was good as well, but wasn't Frontline. Frontline was special. But yeah, like I played Call of Duty 1. I used to actually play competitively for the Telstra Big Pun Arena kind of league thing. And I played all the Call of Duties. But yeah, like World War II disappointed me. The fact that, like, why would you call a Call of Duty game World War II? It's a crappy name. Like, you've gone from, like, I mean, Modern Warfare was like the natural advancement, right? But then you've gone to Call of Duty Ghost and Call of Duty Advanced Full Warfare and then Infinite Warfare and now World War II. Like, can you think of a title, like a subtitle, which is original, like Call of Duty World War II? I think it's like the developers never played a World War II Call of Duty, so this called a World War II. Like World at War was I liked World at War better. I don't like World War II. I mean, I can't get into it. I just can't see it. I tried to like it. I've played the first few missions. I've no interest in multiplayer, but I heard it was crap anyway because of the loot boxes, freaking loot boxes. So I have no interest in the multiplayer, but the single player campaign doesn't do me. I don't feel the engagement. Like, I mean, I've just come from playing Far Cry, where you have, also it's realistic, but you have responsiveness, whereas, you know, in World War II, it's like a typical Call of Duty game. You can mow someone down with 20 rounds in a Thompson magazine, and they don't die. And you see these really random weapons, like you see like the PPSH in Normandy. And it's like, well, this is so Call of Duty, you have like random weapon drops. I don't get it. Maybe I've gone past that phase 10 years ago, but I don't find Call of Duty that fun anymore. But yeah, Sten, hi, welcome back. Sorry to hear about your arm, by the way. We're still closed, by the way. We unofficially open for members. We're still closed, but yeah, we're kind of like not open. The counter, like we call the counter after hours, and they basically have to secure the site. They can't leave the whole thing open. So the guy basically is going to come back. It's going to screw the door shut, so we can't get in anyway. And until they call in contractors to do the proper work later on. But that's a pretty big deal. Banaba Turek. Is being in reasonable shape required to start archery? No. You don't need to be fit to start archery. In fact, archery is a way that can help you be fit. You don't need upper body strength. In fact, you can't do a push-up or a pull-up, doesn't matter. If you have some like fitness, that's fine. I mean, in general, you feel better about yourself. But you definitely don't need to be in shape to start archery. In fact, you see some of the best compound archers in the world. They're pretty big, right? Maybe helps their stability, I don't know. But like, you don't need to be a fit person. Like, a lot of people who do it seriously are quite lanky and thin, but you don't need to be in fit to do archery. It's a very good question, but no, you don't have to be fit. All the walking around fetching arrows will help you be fit. Yeah, James Kendrick. The easiest way to blow computers is use a leaf blower. Yeah, that's. I actually bought this, by the way. Still on Facebook. This is the Hurricane 02. It's basically a motor-driven battery. Well, it's not a battery charge. It's a single-use thing, I think. So basically, that's what I use. So it works, by the way. I mean, you can use compressed air. What's kind of blower, and that's what I use. So it's not a leaf blower. It's actually a nice little handheld device. Works fine. Actually, it did a great job with the fans. So just doing something in case. Lots of dust, which I haven't cleaned for like months or years, and yeah, it worked pretty nicely. Let's see. Anonymous, you've checked on Gumtree, no bows. Wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it probably just happened in the last 24 hours, so they're probably not offloading it right away. It depends how smart these people are. I mean, Gumtree is a very easy way. It'd be nice to check out every now and then the eBay and the Gumtree sales, but more likely to probably sell it to a local pawn shop. Yeah, like there are police records for that. But that's hopefully we'll see something about that. If we don't get back, then I don't think it's a big deal. Like, the bows are old bows, and we're getting new ones anyway, so it wasn't that big a deal. It's just nice to have some closure, especially if we get them caught. The more important thing is, like, what's lost is lost. But if we can have a trail to the perpetrators, then that will help solve a future crime, rather than helping our problem then. That's the win there. Let's see. No Titan XP. Look, money isn't a problem, right? I have money. I'm not rich, right? But I've got a job. Plus, I've got YouTube. Like, YouTube pays actually quite a decent amount. Like, I went viral like last month, November, and the payday came in. And look, I don't know. Don't want to disclose how much I earn, but I earn more for my YouTube channel than I did for my day job for December. So the money is real sometimes, but yeah, like all that cash I can put back into my hardware, and like I don't need like I was looking at the 1080 Ti instead, but like I don't have 4K like 3 monitor setup, so I don't need that much of a heavy hardware, and you basically like I can spend like $700 on a 1070, or I'm gonna spend like $1,200 on a 1080, and I like getting the newer stuff, but I've also got an old motherboard too. Like, my RAM is still DDR3, so I don't want to like spend large on things which would be bottlenecked in the rest of my PC. So 1070 is more than enough for what I do, and it's like a 3-year upgrade for me, so it'll last another couple of years. Should be fine. But no, I'm not gonna. I don't overclock. I don't bother that. Oh, Josh, you mentioned the the tiny leaf blower. This one here. So like it was advertised on you know how Facebook has ads for various things, right? This just popped up on Facebook, and it's called the Hurricane, the O2 Hurricane, and this is stocked in PC stores. So I did buy this from a local computer shop. So this is the O2 Hurricane canless air system. I used to use the compressed air cans, but of course the cans that run out. This one should last a long time. So it's called the O2 Hurricane. I'm not advertising it, but since you asked how do you buy a tiny leaf blower, yeah, that's basically what it is. You get this, you get this nozzle, and that's basically it. It's pretty cool. It's such a useful thing to have around. So I am impressed by seeing this. So there you go, Hurricane O2. Thumbs up from me. Where was I? Going through some of the questions here. Whoops. This is a strange time. It's like 1:14 a.m. here, but this is meant to be a short announcement. But there you go. Where was I? Yeah, and then don't need a dual titan. Yeah, hi Sandra. Yep, more club drama. Yeah, I completely finished my club thing. I'm not present anymore, but hey, we've got breaking into. It sucks. Northy, you're Australian. Why don't you always have that annoying Australian upward inflection? I've noticed that as an Australian accent. There are a couple things which I'm not sure about holding a knife, but I'm not sure why. The more common thing is that nasally thing where you're going, yeah, it's kind of like there's a certain accent which I can't do as an Australian. That is, it's like stand the bloody crows, mate. You have this kind of weird nasal inflection which I can't do. It just sounds weird coming from me. But there are certain things which are inherent about my accent. There are certain things which I choose about the accent, and there's certain inflection. I don't like annoying inflections, right? So I consciously not. I don't do it for like 10 years. So I don't think about it. There are quite a few things with the American accents which I am more fond of, the way they enunciate certain words. So what I have is a bit of a mix of different things. I don't try to, but you're right. I don't have that upward inflection, which I do find annoying. So there is some inherent accent in what I do, but I don't have what you might call a typical accent. Let's see. Al Arum, can you make a video on how to manage an archery club? I was planning to until after breaking. There are different kinds of archery clubs. There's like the public organizations. There are private clubs. There are private ranges. So it's quite complex. If I have a narrower scope, then I might have something more to work with. But tips in general, that's really broad. It's kind of like tips to run a business. Well, that's a lot to go through, and I'm not sure how I can cover that. Let's see. JPC again. If I'm left eye dominant, what hand do I use? You normally use the same side as your dominant eye. So if you're left eye dominant, you would normally use your left hand. But it depends on how comfortable you are with switching your hand dominance. Some people find it really, really hard to use the opposite hand for any delicate things. That's fair. You might want to shoot if you're non-dominant eye, but shoot with dominant hand. But many people, especially in archery, prefer the dominant eye over the dominant hand. Tara Fitzgerald, the last answer school Arlington Mulligans. Okay, I want to sidetrack a bit here. I just bought the book Longbows by Mike Lodes, and Mike Lodes is a very good historian. And because it's funny, like I spent a bit of time criticizing Lars Anderson about his Once There Was Archery, because he did his whole spiel about archers didn't shoot in volleys because shields blocked everything. And I said that, well, it would make sense to shoot in volleys. I mean, it wouldn't be the only way they shot, but they wouldn't shoot in volleys. Now, I was reading the book from Mike Lodes, and I'll cover this in an upcoming video once my computer gets back online. But he actually he opined, and I wouldn't be surprised if Lars actually read this book, because it makes sense. Mike Lodes does say that it would be unlikely that a formation of longbowmen would fire in volleys, because firstly, the word volley is misunderstood. It's written by chroniclers who weren't there. They just recounted what happened. And it doesn't mean that they are shooting all at once, because if you have, say, 1,000 archers, and a third of them shot at the same time, roughly, and then that's a volley, right? So it's the idea of an arrow storm or volley is not well defined. The second thing is that he makes a point where every single person will knock and shoot at a different rate, so it doesn't make sense for people to hold the shot, waiting for the other people to shoot. So I think, in hindsight, Lars does have some legitimate points. But what Mike does point out that in the Battle of Crécy, that he does mention that the master archer this does give a signal for the archer to commence firing, or shooting rather. So, from what I understand, this is going to sidetrack from the Lars Anderson thing, right? It wouldn't be surprising for the archers to start shooting on a signal, but after they start shooting, they will probably shoot at will. And the argument that Mike Lodes presents is not so much based in fact, because we don't have records of the battles that show how it was fought. But from what he has interpreted, he understands that like it was more likely that they shot at will because it was more unpredictable, whereas giving a signal and waiting for volleys would give the opponent more time to react. So that wouldn't be entirely surprising. But I think there's some legitimacy. I think the way he presented it was misleading, but I'll go through that in a bit more detail in an upcoming video. Let's see. 1973. 3 questions. What poundage did you start shooting with? What do you shoot now? And how long did it take me? I started shooting club bows. So my first bow would have been like a 20-pound bow. No, 18 pounds my first bow. And then I shot like the 24-pound club bow. But the first bow I bought was 34 pounds. And I currently shoot a 40-pound bow. Now, bear in mind, I'm a small guy, so I've got a short draw length, so I've got around like a 36 on the fingers. But it took me about, let's say, 3 months of shooting club bows before I bought my 34-pound. It was a little high for me, but I worked into it. So it took me about, let's say, 8 months of shooting 34 pounds, and then I jumped to 40-pound. I think I was a bit premature. Now, when I shoot a 30-pound bow, a mid 30-pound bow, like what I shot with the Windrunner, it's probably my natural weight. I'm not a well-built guy, so I think 40-pound would be the tip of my natural ability. I'd have to do some serious training to go beyond that. But it took me, let's say, 2 years total shooting to go from, say, 20-pound to 40-pound. Depends on how serious you take, how much training you do. That's a good question, by the way. Here we go. All right. James Badger, second-hand Formula Riser or second-hand high-quality ILF carbon foam limbs? I can't say much about Formula. I don't use them. I have used them once. No, I use the Grand Prix limbs. No, I haven't used Formula limbs. So it's Hoyt stuff, right? It's Hoyt marketing. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. There's no real extra thing. So yeah, no comment on the Formula One. But whatever you find easier, I don't really have a preference over which system is better. I can't say for sure. War Thunder's gonna run. War Thunder already runs for one fun. I mean, I run max settings for War Thunder, and there's no problem with like frame rates and drops because it's not a demanding game. I mean, you can have some high quality graphics, but it's not that intense. It's more like you want like super high quality with things like, I don't know, Far Cry or something. Call of Duty. Yeah. Good grief. Yeah, Joshua. Calling World War II. Yeah, well, I mean, at least Battlefield 1 had a catchy name because I've played Battlefield 1942, I played Battlefield Vietnam, I didn't play any of the Battlefield. You have 2, 3, 4, you have Battlefield 1. It's such a gimmick, it works because it's like the original World War, so that's a catchy name. And then you have Call of Duty World War II. What? What kind of naming is that? What kind of executive thought it would be a good idea? World at War was a great title. World at War was a good game because you had this you had the Black Ops style narrative. The fact that it connected with later Black Ops is incidental. Like I didn't even think about that at the time. But the World at War, you have of course the Soviet story, you have the American story. It's nice because you jump around the Pacific, you go to back to Russia. It's a nice like narrative. It's kind of like World at War is more of a throwback to the original Call of Duty, where Call of Duty you play at 3 different perspectives, and that was your gaming experience. You had a more holistic view of the war, and World at War had that. You had Stalingrad, you had Guadalcanal, and that was like, wow, you had a bit of everything, and you had like a mini narrative each story. Whereas World War Two is you play an American and you land in Normandy, and it's kind of like, imagine you had a fan like a fan remake of like the Medal of Honor or the Saving Private Ryan beach scene, and you want to do it in 2017 graphics or 2016 graphics. It's not that new. It's not that great, and it's just, I find it a bit disappointing. It's kind of, oh, I'm on the beach, I have to dodge machine gun fire. I've done this in Allied Assault. It doesn't feel good to do the same thing again. It just meh. Right. Linux, is the Mandarin Duck Phantom a Junting bow? Yes, it is. The Mandarin Duck bows are Junting bows. It's rebranded. Roger Paul, I think it's time to try English Longbow. I've gone thumb draw, right? I think the English Longbow is next. If any traditional archery store that stocks or sells English longbows wants to like sponsor me or give me an English longbow, give me an email, give me a message. I'm going to. I would definitely get into it, because look, ever since my coach left the club, formally, like I haven't shot my Olympic recurve ever since, actually. Not because I don't want to, but because I've got all these other cool things I want to do first. Cool, archery has to be fun first. Let's see. Sorry, I missed nothing there. I'm just skipping through my highlights now. So if I get names, did you watch Marvel movies? I actually don't watch superhero movies much. The last one I watched was Winter Soldier, Captain America. I haven't seen that. I mean, I don't mind going back to watch them, but I just don't have time to really like dig into a Marvel movie. But I like Marvel films. They're nice. Lots of action. All right. Anonymous, I've ordered a bow. It's not here. Ordered back in October. I'm not sure which bow, like, or where you ordered it from. I can't really. It depends on where you order from. Like the first bow I ever bought was from Pat's Archery. I bought it on Friday, got it on a Monday. That's interstate, that is shipped right over the weekend. So that's fantastic. But other people have bought bows and it's taken like 6 months because it's on back order. So it depends on where you buy it from, what bow you have. If it's back ordered, then unless more people order it, you're not going to get it. That's the whole point of back ordering, is they will only order a shipment of these items if there's enough demand. If you order it, they'll reserve one for you, hopefully, but they won't order it in unless there's they're restocking. For those who are just joining me, the club was burgled. That's why I'm having this live stream. Morton, can I do comparison of the bear and black hunter? Yeah, I plan to. The black hunter is nice. It looks like a bear Super Kodiak, which I know someone who has one. The one you saw on Facebook is not mine. That's someone else's. So I'll borrow that and I'll shoot that as well. They look very similar, definitely. It's the Black Hunter. I'm getting the recurve version. I'll thought about getting a longbow, because why not? Wouldn't hurt. But I don't care too much. A recurve is generally more efficient, so I went with the recurve. I should recurve. Yeah, I mean, I don't imagine the longbow that different. The funny thing is that the Windrunner has like no reviews. The Phantom has like no reviews either. You have like Tex Grubner Outdoors, who's done a comparison video. You have Survival Lily, who did a video with the Phantom. You have a few like casual unboxings, but you have no review. So that's just what my pitch was. Look, if you want more visibility, send me bows and I'll review them. If they're good, they're good. If they're not, they're not. But they're good quality bows. So it's why I like the Windrunner's come. Hey, it's out of nowhere you have a Windrunner review. It's the only review on the internet, basically. The Black Hunter's been around for a bit longer, so there's more people who've done it. But wouldn't hurt. I mean, I think the fact that you say I'm an influencer, like obviously I've got a lot of clout in the online community. Giving me quality gear is a good idea. Giving me crap is a bad idea. Okay, that I think is the end of the live stream. That is the end of the questions, and it's now 1:20 a.m. I'm trying to reset my my body clock, because I mean, like, it'll be like 41 degrees Celsius this Saturday, so I want to avoid that. But like, I can't be a night owl all the time, and I'm trying to do more active shooting and more active stuff so I can be more tired. Like, I want to sleep now, basically. But yeah, I'm trying to reset that. Out of Atara, what's the draw length? I'm around 26.5 inches, so not very long. Yeah. Yeah, I have a short draw length. Northy, your 40-pound longbow is easier to pull than your 30-pound. I've heard things that longbows are smoother to draw. Recurves are a bit, they're a bit punchier. This is a generalization, but longbows are gentler on the draw force curve, whereas recurves kind of have the more efficiency, but they kind of stack a bit more. Yeah, Joshua. Oh man, there's a guy in my club who wants to shoot on Tuesday, which we did. And I want to shoot on Saturday because it's free. And I'm thinking, Saturday it's like 40 degrees on Saturday. Are you sure? I used to train in 40-degree heat just to say that I could, but oh my goodness, I mean I have no aircon here in my house. It's gonna be a stinking hot in here. It's gonna be a shutdown. I mean the only thing going for me, but I hopefully would have had my new hardware, so I just plug that in. I don't know what to do on Saturday. I don't want to shoot. I mean, he's just a shoot in the morning, but it's gonna be like 32 degrees on Friday, so it's not gonna cool down before like Saturday morning. So it's gonna be a nasty day. Now, thankfully, it'll cool down on Sunday, so it's a 1 day heat spike rather than a heat wave. But it's got to be unpleasant. That means drink up fluids, people, fluids. I'm pretty stuck on that as well. Not just soft drinks, but fluids. Mm. Cordial, by the way, not Coke. It's cordial. Don't drink Coke at 1:30 in the morning. Okay, you dream of 4-degree heat. Yeah, it's pretty cold up there. Yeah, it is not unpleasant. One thing I should do it right now. In fact, I recommend a couple of things for the hot weather. Soak a sponge, put it into a Ziploc bag, and place it into your freezer. So you have an ice pack, basically, right? So when it's hot, take out your frozen sponge with the Ziploc bag and just push, cool yourself down. It actually helps a lot. Also, of course, use your water bottle. I store it like this way, life hack. So keep it sideways, and then once it's frozen, fill it with water, so you have chilled water all the way up. Small life hacks. Yeah, TJ Marine, locks will keep you honest, people out. Yes, yeah. Now, if people want to go in, they'll go in. Locks don't do that much, yeah. Negative 40 degrees in where you are, Tara. It's just so funny how the world works sometimes. What's snow? What's that stuff talking about? Like, I see like these white things, the ground's white in photos. I'm like, what's that? Yeah, Josh is right. Like, it's not like it's. I mean, it is actually quite cold. Like today, like this week, it's been like average like mid 20 degrees. You're where I am, right? You're in Melbourne, right? So you know what I'm talking about. Like it's been mid 20 degrees. So it's been actually quite cold. Like the nights have been quite chilly. But it's more like the relative heat drops a lot. So when you have a 40-degree day and it goes to like 30 degrees, it feels so good. Even though it's still 30 degrees, it feels good. Sean Simpson, which would be better to build my strength for archery, free weight sit-ups, or example, or bow trainer? Bow trainer. If you want to build your strength specifically for archery, it's a bow trainer. Acrobat is fantastic. I'm gonna do a review of that at some point, because they use the muscles you use for archery. It makes sense. If you want to use other things, bent over rows works well if you're doing free weights. The rowing machine, as Morton said, very good. The rowing machine. If you're gonna do weights, do basically rows of that. Sit-ups won't really help you. I mean, the sit-ups will help build your core, and core is good for archery as well, because you do engage your core muscles when you have a proper archery stance. But if you want to do weight training, anything that resembles a row is good. But if you want to train specific archery muscles, using a bow trainer, or using your actual bow. If you do look up Keesikli's SPT, It's something which people hate, but they do because it maintains their form and conditioning using the actual equipment. Now, the reason why I don't do it, swimming, yes, by the way, thanks Tara. Swimming is also very good for training your artery muscles. But yeah, SPTs are probably the best and most focused archery training routine. Look it up on the Kesikli website, KSL International, or look up Archery SPT, and you'll get that training routine. It's very good. I should do it, but I'm a lazy bum that's too busy doing other things. But if I was serious about maintaining and actually getting into competitive archery, I would be doing SPTs. The fact that I don't do SPTs is probably why I'm not competitive. I'm being honest here. And the fact that I've got like all these bows at home now, that is, I should be using these other bows for SPTs. Even without using my Olympic gear, I've got other bows. Now, my comeback to this is that I've got all these trad recurve bows, which are from 20. I'm getting a 50-pound bow next. So I still want to shoot in my backyard, just basically like have arrow volume. So I'm not necessarily shooting my Olympic recurve, but I know that conditioning is my weakness because I've been off archery for a long time. So the fact that I'm shooting at all is a good thing. But I'm getting like an hour or 2 hours. Yeah, sorry for poking the table. I'll poke it less. I notice this when I'm doing voiceovers of videos, especially War Thunder ones. I tap my thing a lot, so I do apologize. Thank you. I get a little worked up sometimes. But thanks for reminding me, James. Yeah, so I was saying before that the fact I've got so many bows, I can shoot like a low weight recurve bow with high intensity, so shoot like rapid fire basically. Not shoot like crap, but basically train up one skill, but also get some general conditioning. Fascinating how archery works. Okay, it is 1:30 now. So for those who just joined me, some people always join at the very end. So for those who are just joining me, my club was broken into. We've lost most of our gear. So unfortunately, that's our start 2018. So if you have missed that part of the stream, then that's the news and update. So do keep an eye out for like pawn shops or second-hand sales or eBay or Gumtree in case you see bows like the PC Razorback or basically a bow or recurve bow, especially if it has pink strings. I suspect that most of the ones that left had pink strings, so maybe the ones that took the ones with the white strings. So they're white strings with red or blue serving. I made them, so I know what they are, and some have pink strings. So if you see them around, then it's most important that you track down where it comes from. Rather than if we get it back, that's fine, fantastic, but that's not really our goal anymore. It's mostly like preventing the same people from doing it again, because again they came back twice. They will probably come back a third time, and it's just you don't want to ruin it for the community, and these people have, unfortunately. So I wish these people endless sleepless nights, and hopefully they've done good for their families, because obviously they did it for a good cause, and the rest of us are obviously greedy capitalists. Anyway, thank you for joining me on the stream. It's not my preferred topic for 2018, but that is the end of the Q&A as well. So it's a nice thing to chat about things. Nice to offload as well. And hopefully next time you see me, I've got a much better GPU and my computer's back running. I actually had like video film. I filmed myself using my thumb ring for the first time. Because for those on my Facebook page, I bought a new Korean thumb ring. Because the first one I had was a bit too large. Just for curiosity, this is my first thumb ring. I think it is. The other one's in my car. I don't have it here right now. But that's my first thumb ring, and it's too large. You can see the way it fits there. In, out. Way too large, so that's not good for me. If I want to use it, I have to pad it, but otherwise I need to get a smaller one. I've got a smaller one. It fits just okay. I think it might be slightly too large, but from what I've seen from Armin's videos, it seems to fit the same way he does. He says it's perfect, so I've been offered to get a pack from Vermil. Armin from Malta Archery did a preview of 4 different Vermil thumb rings, and I think if I want to get back in touch with Vermil, they'll probably send me the same kit as well. So I just wanted to make sure that my thumb rings were the right size first, and I think I'm in the right zone now. Otherwise, a bit of padding wouldn't hurt, but hopefully we'll get more. Why are people sending me thumb rings, right? I shoot tabs and gloves. Suddenly I'm getting thumb rings. Fun. But what a change that is. 2018. Well, what I loved about Armin's video was that he said 2018 is the year of the thumb draw, man. I just have to be doing thumb draw. So there you go. Hopefully we get some more shooting going. I don't have the footage edited because I have no GPU, so I can't edit anything anyway. I could, but it'll take. Oh, actually, I could. I mean, you don't need a GPU to edit videos. We just make things a lot faster. You have that the hardware acceleration. I might. Nah, can't be bothered. It's in my car anyway. Anyway, thank you for joining me. It's now 1:40 a.m. and I still have no bows. So hopefully we'll see some of that next time. So thank you all. I wouldn't mind hosting another Q&A at some point mid month. I'm not sure if it can be bothered, but thank you for joining me. This is New Sensei, and I'll see you next time.